Hi everyone, so as you know I'm still doing these book reviews and this is I think it's either number 47 or 46, I can't I can't remember, but it's called No More Fighting, 20 Minutes a Week to a Stronger Relationship, and it's written by Alicia Munoz. I know that's not how you pronounce it, I'm going to just guess, but yeah, so I haven't read the whole book because it's a resource book. So what I mean by that is that it's one of those books that I've bought this as obviously a counsellor so I can use it with my clients, and it's one of the books that I'm gonna a reference book that I'm gonna keep referring to. So there's lots of good exercises in there. So the whole book consists of different chapters and they're broken down into sections. So some of the chapters are self-care, and then you'll have 3 chapters on that: communication, love rituals, attachment issues, money matters, love languages, monogamy and beyond, relationship wreckers, coping with stress, social styles, self-esteem, intimacy issues, your partner's world. That's not all of them, but there's loads of chapters. And it just says that couples who face their fears and look at their blind spots and recommit daily to growth possess a truly incredible superpower. So the book guides couples through 52 common relationship challenges from decision making to affairs. And it says before you do the exercises, the author recommends selecting a physical or psychological couple spot where once a week you can explore the challenges. So she said, and that's sometimes what I'll say to couples as well, like if you're doing relationship reviews or if you're talking about a serious issue, allocate a time, but also choose a space where you both feel like comfortable, so it's about making it important. If you know that you're going to have a sit down and review your relationship, or if you're going to talk about something really serious, psychologically you're getting ready for that talk, you're prepared for it, so choose a space which is not going to cause distress. So it says that there's an exercise in the book called Couples Time Container. So that's where you set a timer and you take time to listen to each other, and then you switch roles and repeat. So you conclude with an expression of physical affection. So when I was doing couples counselling, when I was doing it face-to-face before the pandemic, I did a similar thing to this. This was just my idea, and it was just 2 minutes where each person in the counselling room, they would express what their main issue is, or they would express something they've been holding back or that's been bothering them, and the other person wouldn't speak within that time, and then the other person would have a few minutes to respond to what's been said, and then they would say their issue. So the key thing with that is it's all about listening, but it's all about containing it as well, because what can happen is sometimes people can offload and they can start talking about one thing and then start talking about another thing, and then it can just go on and on. And I know some couples that say they'll be arguing the whole day on and off. So they'll start in the morning before they even go to work, and then they'll all through the day they'll be sending each other text messages, arguing, and then they'll come home and they'll continue, and then before they go to bed they'll carry on, and it will nothing will get addressed or resolved, but it is just a continuous argument. Or for others it's really intense, but it's like 20 or 30 minutes of screaming at each other, but you don't really listen and you don't really resolve it. So this is more practical in the sense of you actually allocate some time, but you don't allocate too much time, and also you give each other, it's about listening. So each chapter has a little tip, and I really like that about this book. At the top of each chapter it has a little, you can see there, like a speech bubble, and it will just have a little tip at the top. So it might have things like know your partner's social needs and how to support them. Appreciation is to gratitude what magnets are to ferromagnetic material. Access your experience and share it. Shoulds are one way we avoid taking responsibility for our needs. And then, it's just got true listening takes practice. So it's got those little tips at the top, which are always good. And then it's also got lots of exercises. Some of the exercises are intimacy levels, thinking about your intimacy and how you can improve that. Values compass. Vent boxes, which is a tool you can use to express frustrations, but keeping things short. And then I've got a few exercises which I'm just going to talk about from the book. So the vent boxes, it says a vent box is a tool you can use to express your frustrations. If you've ever seen a 2-year-old pounding on the floor and yelling, you understand why freely expressed frustration can be hard to tolerate. At the same time, intimate relationships offer us an opportunity to acknowledge and release pent-up frustration, in the presence of someone who cares about us and who knows us well enough. So if your partner agrees to give you a vent box, give yourself permission to have an adult tantrum. Now, I don't, yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm reading things and I think, I don't know, it's not like something I would recommend. I mean, that's the whole beauty of everyone's different. As a counsellor, I don't think I would, that is not something I'd say I would recommend, because I don't know if throwing an adult tantrum, I suppose what she's trying to say is because it's different to what I thought it was going to be, because I thought if she was going to say vent box, you'd be venting and offloading by just saying, oh, these things are really bothering me at work or whatever it is, and then you'd close that off. But a tantrum, because the only difficulty I'd say with that is if someone then feels they can't, it's too much for them. So if your partner does these vent boxes where they're just going off and they're just saying, I'm really angry about this, and they're really, really venting, but you don't have the mental or emotional capacity to receive that, or, it's too much for you, then that could be part of being a bit of an issue. So I think it depends on you as a couple. I personally, I don't know if, even as a counsellor, if I'd want like my partners to be continuously venting, especially about the same thing, and to be doing it in a way that is just impacting on me and absorbing that. So, but I get where she's coming from. Everyone's different. So it is, I think there's other ways you can express like your frustration sometimes. There's things like journaling, there's things like maybe going to the gym, there's things like, going for walks, there's other ways, but yeah, it's down to each person. So another exercise that I'll just look at from this book is called the Unconditional Love Plan, GULP, so GULP. And it says, the situation, maybe someone's driving somewhere together. The key moment is the person makes a wrong turn. The old response would be pointing out what the person should have done. So you'll say to your partner, you should have gone there and you should have listened to me and all of that. The unconditional loving response is to say, it's not a big deal. We all make wrong turns. And then it says that will help the person feel loved, relaxed and supported. So I suppose you could use this unconditional love plan in lots of situations. If you're working as a team and you're in your relationship, it shouldn't be about pointing out your partner's mistakes. It shouldn't be about keeping score, saying, remember when you did that, and you've messed up on this and you've messed up on that. That's not really what it's about. It's about recognizing that, that's someone you love and care about. So everyone's going to make mistakes. So it's supporting that person and not making them feel silly. So the other, let's have a look at another exercise, is something called My Money, Your Money, Our Money. So that was one of the chapters, and it says that they've just given lots of examples in here. So it talks about Oliver and Gail, and when they moved in together, they divided up their separate finances clearly and took on financial responsibilities in a way that felt easy and equitable. Both Oliver and Gail had been earning six-figure incomes. Oliver worked as a CPA and had additional insurance and retirement benefits. When Oliver moved into Gail's rent-controlled West Village apartment, they continued to keep their money separate. It goes on, but it says they started to fight about money more frequently. The smallest expense could offer conflict. Oliver started to be resentment towards Gail, and Gail started to be defensive, and it created a mini Molotov cocktail. So it just talks about the challenges were that they, in their situation, was that they didn't talk about money before they got together. They didn't, they kept keeping their money separately, but then when they lived together, they recognised it was a bit impossible to do that. And so it says overall what they had to do is, instead of blaming each other, when they had therapy, Gail began to realise that her fear of letting someone else take care of her money was a cover for deeper issues. And then it says, within a few weeks of their tough money discussions, Gail dusted off her lighting equipment and photography gear, there's lots in there, and drove to do her first photography gig since their daughter was born. And Oliver spent the afternoon at the park. So I think what it's trying to say really is, because I don't think there was the money part then and then the child came into it. I think with this book, I suppose it's one of those where it's giving lots of clear examples of like things that cause issues between couples. It's giving practical steps. It gives plenty of exercises. I just think it's a really good book. I gave it 9 out of 10 because it's got all the strategies in there. It's got the relationship challenges, it's got the exercises, it's got the guidance, it's got the motivation. How the author writes and sort of how she, obviously she's a therapist herself. It's not necessarily as much as I would do, like some of their tasks and things like that, but we're all different, as I've said. And it says obviously she's a professional counsellor and a desire expert. That's interesting. She's from New York, and she's got mental health in wellness counselling and a certificate in Imago relationship therapy. So Imago or Imago, I've not heard of that actually, I'll look into that. So it's always good to have these types of books, because even if you can't access couples counselling for whatever reason, sometimes having like access to books, and that's why sometimes I'll do some of these book reviews, can be useful. It can be really beneficial. So yeah, it's called No More Fighting, 20 Weeks to a Stronger Relationship, the relationship book for couples by Alicia Munoz. Now I know that that's not how you say her name, but I really can't pronounce it. But I got this from Amazon, but you could probably find it anywhere. So that's 9 out of 10 I gave that book, and I'll continue to do these book reviews every week. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you soon. Bye.